Yo, yo, yo. Workbench Con 2023 has come and gone, and everybody, it seems like, has made their post Workbench Con thoughts video. And I've wanted to make one, but I've not done it. And today, when I was driving, I had some inspiration, and I've been thinking about telling this story, and I've wondered if I should. So I'm just going to tell it. And that is my greatest takeaway from Workbench Con was something I saw with Steve Ramsey. Now, if you don't know who Steve Ramsey is, uh, I think he's got, um, gosh, I should have done research before doing this figure. I think 2 million subscribers. He's got millions of subscribers. I think he has 2 million. He's the probably the number one YouTuber and has been for the woodworking space, teaching beginners, and is probably easily the most successful woodworking YouTuber. If you're just looking at subscribers and probably money earned, I don't know how much money he's made, but I don't think he's hurting. Um, so there was that's who Steve Ramsey is. If you don't know who Steve Ramsey is, go look him up. Great, great dude. But here's something that happened is when you go to Workbench Con, they give you a little thing like this. And all the regular people like me who paid to go have a black lanyard. But if you were a speaker or you were somebody important, you had a white lanyard. I didn't notice this until like the second day when people pointed out, and apparently it was like a social thing. It's like, oh, they have a white lanyard. I never noticed the different colors. But there was like a VIP room with like drinks in it, and you could go in there. If you had a white lanyard, you could go in there and relax, get away from all the regular people. Which I get. You know, I've spoken publicly, and there's like work involved and stress, and you want to get your thoughts. So I don't care about a VIP room. It's helpful when you need it. But I noticed there was this social, like, oh, there's the people with white lanyards and the people with black lanyards. And so one of the coolest things was that Steve Ramsey was there. And guess what color lanyard he had? He had the measly black colored lanyard. And I noticed he wasn't speaking. And he should have done like 3 classes at this thing, but he wasn't speaking. Where the conference was in Atlanta, he's in California. So that's a long plane ride. You know, go across the country to attend a conference. And I just noticed that he was like in all the classes, and he'd sit, you know, towards the back, and he was very approachable. And I watched people just like walk up to him and say, "Oh my gosh, you were like the first person I subscribed to," and he was just so gracious and kind. Um, but I thought it was kind of crazy that he paid for his own flight, paid for his own hotel, and went to this conference where he could have been speaking at and probably should have been speaking at, just to attend, just to be an attender. And he didn't have this "I'm better than everybody" here. He didn't have this attitude of "I've been doing this longer than everybody, I've made more money than everybody." He just flew across the country, paid his own way, paid his own hotel room, paid his own ticket, and just attended like a regular dude, because that's who he is. I actually confirmed this with him. I talked to him, and he did pay for his ticket. He did pay his own way, and that was probably my biggest takeaway out of Workbench Con was the humility of Steve Ramsey, of a guy who's got millions of subscribers, has probably made millions of dollars on YouTube, has a very successful newsletter, courses, marketing engine, and he just seemed to not really care about the YouTube game. He seemed to not care about who has what. He was just there to be a woodworker, He was there to learn and connect with other people, and it was so approachable. I was walking into a class that Brad Rodriguez from Fix This Build That was teaching. We were both walking in, we started talking, and we ended up not making it into the class. Sorry, Brad. And just chatted for like 45 minutes outside, and just a dude. And I walked away from Workbench Con thinking, just my respect for him just growing so much, because there were, I'm sure, people who wouldn't have gone if they weren't speaking, or who didn't go because they weren't speaking. And Steve could have easily said, "Oh, you're not paying me, you're not featuring me, I'm not going to fly across the country." And he didn't do that. He showed up quietly, unassumedly. He's very quiet, very in the background. And if you didn't know better, like if I pulled my dad in and said, out of this room, pick the most influential and successful woodworking YouTuber who's been doing it the longest, and I gave him 100 tries, I don't think that he would pick out Steve Ramsey based on, if you don't know anything. There just wasn't that attitude about him, and I was really, really impressed and grateful to find that out about someone that I've watched for a long time. And because sometimes you meet people and it ruins it for you because you find out they're jerks. And I just kept hearing people over and over and over again say how delightful Steve Ramsey was. Another person just like that was Frank from Frank Howarth, I think is how you say his name. Awesome. It was great to see him. And equally on that level was Jimmy DiResta. Although he was speaking, it was just incredible to meet Jimmy. To, I think, become friends with him. I don't know if he'd say we're friends, but just got to hang out for hours with him, and you would never know this guy was on Netflix or on NBC or had toys in Walmart, And I was just really impressed with Jimmy, with Frank, with Steve. I can't say the same thing about I'm not going to say their names. I got you, didn't I? That's good.